Jaime, who's going to lead off our video session, and I'll let you introduce yourself.
All right.
Yes, over to Jaime.
Hi everyone, I'm Jaime Schmidt, and I'll be co-presenting with my husband Jan Schmidt. And I do website development. And so, has anyone here used Pitivi before? Yeah. Anyone tried to use Pitivi before? Yeah. Anyone got great experiences with Pitivi? Yeah. So, anyone not know what Pitivi is? Okay. So Pitivi is a free video editor for Linux. It's an open source project, and the idea is to be this featureful movie editor for the Linux desktop, and it's trying to solve many of the problems. My goal for doing this talk is my wedding was in 2005. We took video, and I thought I would edit the videos. I run Linux, so I have to do it on Linux. And so at the same time we moved to Barcelona, and I met Edward Hervé, who was creating the project. And I was confident I'd be able to use it within a few weeks. And so every 6 months or so I try it. And this year I thought I'd try it again and do a presentation of where it's at. I still haven't edited my wedding videos. But I will see how I go with this talk. Also, I have just a little Sony CyberShot camera. That's my full video thing. So I thought that's what most people have, a phone or a camera, and you take some funny video of your friend. You want to pop it up on your website or on YouTube. That's my goal. I know people have more advanced goals with effects and things like Jan and Edward, who seems to think everyone wants to do the world. I just want to cut my mum's boyfriend at my wedding spent half the time looking at his feet, and then he'd go and go, the bride, and then they'd go like this, and it'd be swaying back and forwards looking at the ground, and it makes me feel sick. So I just want to cut that out of my wedding video, and it's done. And clip it back together, save. That's my entire goal, as most people have. And Jan might want to talk about why he's interested in Pitivi.
Hi, I'm Jan. So, sure.
Yeah.
Hi. So my involvement in Pitivi is I'm a GStreamer developer, and for anyone that doesn't know what GStreamer is, it's a cross-platform multimedia framework that is used for as a platform for building multimedia applications. So it's used in projects like Totem and Rhythmbox as the player back end, and it's used by Pitivi as its video editing for doing the heavy lifting of manipulating video. So my involvement is as a developer of the underlying technology. I want to see GStreamer support the features that video editors need and do that well. So that's my involvement, the logo. And of course, some time to see Jaime edit our wedding video.
So now let's move on to what Pitivi's goals are. Its goals is to have any format come in and put any format out. It makes it easy to learn and easy to use. It's to be free and open source. And so the next bit is about the installation. So theoretically it comes with Ubuntu, and otherwise you'll need to install it. And my goal is, which probably won't be able to show, is just to use the Ubuntu version, because I don't even change my desktop background. I'm a web user, so if my desktop apps, I just use what it comes with. And if someone says get the source or this or that, I'm thinking, what's my mum going to do if she wants to edit video? She's not going to be able to do that. So this is the version I'll be talking about, is the one you get when you have Ubuntu and you use your normal install application. And I also added the PPA there, which has the latest copies, and also, yeah, shows you how to update and upgrade. So I created a video on my little camera, sort of thing you might do. I guess this is it. Hopefully this is the right one. Okay, so I just took some pictures of some flowers, and then, well, it's not going to go ahead, I shouldn't have done that.
Cable, the audio.
Oh well, it's just me going, there's some flowers, and then I say, or now I'm walking around, all the sort of stuff you get in your video, like my wedding video, most of it. And then you go, oh, no, I actually want these flowers. And, you know, the sort of, you guys probably have more creative minds than me.
Sorry.
And then I do some of that great video footage again. And then...
Yeah, right. Throw it up on my LinkedIn.
All right, so that's the video that I'm going to work with. And
Lift the laptop up.
If I can just go. So the first thing that happened was I opened my video in Pitivi and it didn't work. Everyone's first experience. There is this little note in the documentation that says, oh, by the way, we don't do MPEGs.
Excuse me for 1 second.
So then Jan had a solution. Oh, he's pulled it out. Of course, I asked my techie husband. I said, what's your solution to this? And I don't know if I'll have it here. Oh. Well, it's not going now.
Oh, upstairs.
So I gave it to him, and as I'll show you in a moment, he wrote 20 lines of code. Where is it? Here. He said, you just do this. Duh. Duh. Luckily, my friend Christian Schaller wrote a lovely application called Transforgeddon. And you can also get that in Ubuntu and use the default version. It's got quite an easy interface. You just find your video, you say turn it into OGG, and you hit go. It doesn't even let you tell you where it goes. It always goes to the same place. In my computer it went to videos and Jan's went to the home directory. It's not that advanced, but I like it. So it also has a rotate function. So as you saw, most of my video was sideways, so I made it rotate. And so you can see, I'll just show a quick demo of that. And it takes a few seconds on mine, but obviously if you had a big wedding video, it's going to take ages. Is that going to work? Oh, here, it's here. So yeah, it rotated it and made it into an OGG. So that's a good first step. Still crap. And then next thing's to put into Pitivi. So I'll put it into Pitivi in a second, and you get a track of one the video and one the audio. So this is pretty easy. You just go to import clips, and you'll import the clip, and you'll see these. And then you'll have to drag the video from here down here to make it show. And you can import as many resources as you want. And then there's two functions you can do then, is split and delete. The split is to cut up your video into pieces, and delete is just to delete the bits you don't want, and there's shortcut keys, S and delete. I would recommend saving your work all the time because it crashed about 5 times on me. So after I did something I was fairly happy with and it didn't take me too long, you save your work. That doesn't actually save the video, it saves your project. So you can come back and keep editing later. So the next thing I wanted to do was go crazy and add some titles. I did these in Inkscape. Has anyone used Inkscape? But you can use your favourite graphic making project. This one's very easy. And it actually has their video PAL 720 by 576, so you can actually create the correct size, save it, export it to PNG. I don't know if SVG works, but I use PNG. Pulled in my titles as PNGs, put them into the video down below where I wanted them. Then I thought, oh, this is going well, I'll add some music. But the video itself already had the music, the sound of me saying this is flowers, blah, blah, blah. So I first had to, there's this thing called there's these two concepts called grouping and linking. And let me see. Okay. So grouping, I believe, refers to the top and the bottom. So things are connected. So your video and your audio are grouped together, which you probably want. If you're moving things around, you want the sound to stay at the same point. And linking is side by side. So just say I want the painting there to go to the front, I would link painting and the painting word and the painting pictures together sideways, and when I moved it, it would move as one piece to the front of my video. So you can clip things together. So that's what I believe linking and grouping is. There's some discussion about that in Pitivi. That's how I interpret it. And those are the symbols. Grouping is the up and down, linking is the side to side. So to ungroup or group things together, and link and unlink, those little buttons. So, next thing I did, and you can see here I've got, where's my mouse? Here it's got this little thing, bar, you can slide it up and down, and that's your volume of your sound. So, next thing I did was put on an MP3 and adjusted the volume, ungrouped and deleted the sound, and then I rendered my project and it created a video. So let's go do that. Why not? So you can see the same thing as me, import clip. So I have to use the one that came out of Transmageddon, the OG. That's that first step. And then I might just import, actually I didn't. Oh well, I might have to create couple of text graphics. Inkscape, whoop, not that. Graphics, Inkscape. And I can, do you have any music, Jan? Well, it's Morissette, why not? Because it's OG, will that work? Yeah. Alright. Then I'm going to make a couple of graphics over here. File, new, PAL. I'll just make one graphic. Text. My title. Save as. Oh yeah, export to PNG. And then you'll want to do the whole page, 720 by 560. Desktop. Okay. And I can import that. Where did it go? There. Alright, so then I put my video in, put my music in, it went down there. It's pretty, like, this is a version, Jan will talk about, what's coming, but I found every time I went to a talk on Pitivi, they'd show me what was in Pitivi and I'd try it and it didn't work. So I thought, I'm going to show you what does work. Alright, so the next thing I want to do, so there's this slider here, which can show you where you are in time. So I like to find a bit where it's kind of straight, like here, and I'll do a cut. Ooh, I don't have the option to cut. Why is that? Oh, you got to be on video. Cut. Go here. Move the slider to where some sunflowers are, and I'll cut. Whoop, that didn't do it again. Cut. Move it to the end of the sunflowers. Sorry? Okay. So it's called scrubbing when you go back and forward in media, as most of you will know. Cut. And cut. Alright, so then I want to delete these, so you can hit delete or press delete. There. There. And there. And then I want to put my title, so I'm probably going to just slot it in. And then can I put another one here? Slot that here. Putting in the titles along, just dragging and dropping them. Now the next thing I said was about, actually the next thing I said would do was save your project. So it's this XPTV file. Alright, so it's pretty good already. Now what I'm going to do next is ungroup the top and the bottom. So I have the video and the audio, and I say ungroup. Now they're separate items, so I can just click the audio now and see how the highlight changed from here to here, and I can hit delete. And I'll do that here again, get rid of all these audio tracks. You might want to do things where you can get more advanced, but I don't want to be too confusing. And then I've got my audio track at the bottom. Let's see if I can drag it up a bit. Nope. Oh well, we'll just move the thing to the end of the video. And we'll go here, and we'll say cut. And delete. Right, that looks a bit weird. Oh, did I? Okay. I'll just delete that. And delete this. And then you've got this volume, as I was saying. Alright, so that's pretty good first start. Then we just say render. So I just created the output file, and you can play around with these things, but I don't care. And off it goes. So I can go back into my talk. So yeah, so this is about rendering. The next thing I'm going to talk about is keyframes. Keyframes are where you put these dots on the video to say where you'd like to do something, basically. So it just splits it into pieces without cutting. So I find bits in the movie where you may want to put an effect, or you may want it to, you can do one effect I had was crossfading, where you can put the dots along it, and then you can have the title come in over the top. This is getting more advanced. So this is the sort of stuff Jan will talk about. But I did manage to get it to do it on the one straight in Ubuntu, but then Jan thought I needed a higher GStreamer and something didn't work anymore. But we'll try it on this demo. It works on Jan's. Okay, so we can try it in the demo in a second. All right, let's see how that went. 10 seconds. Can I go like Control New? No. Okay. Do you know where it is? Oh yeah, here. My video.org. Maybe it'll have sound. Ooh, it's not working. Oh, there it goes. But it's not working well, is it? But anyway.
The sound's not turned up.
I'm broke, but I'm happy.
It doesn't have the.
I'm poor, but I'm
my
kind.
title's not working.
I'm short, but I'm healthy. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm high, but I'm grounded.
Didn't look like that to me. That would be hours of pain for me. I wouldn't know what it is.
I'm lost, but I'm hopeful.
But you know, you get it if you're smarter than me and you can make proper PNGs. So, it cut, it saved, it made a video I put on YouTube. Everyone laughs at my funny video. I get famous. Make money, the end. So, PNG is not going to work. I'll have to do another one. How do you change the colour of the background? And change it to, I don't know, white. Ah, I'm confused. Why am I doing this? Where are my PNGs? Bloody hell. How do I get back to the title? Ooh. And we can stretch that and make it red. And now I'll export it. Alright, back to Pitivi. Let's see how deleting this goes. I haven't tried deleting before. Can I just... How do you right click in a Mac? Oh, and click. No, can't do it. Alright, well, let's just import another one. Aha! Max. Alright, my title. Put it across here. So then we can add these key frames, but you can do it by double clicking. So let's try this. So we want it to blend out as the movie's starting, down to 0. This can work for all your effects as well. Oh yeah, so we want a keyframe probably in the middle. And it works top down. So the interface is quite lovely, and it probably just needs more people to work on it, because it was a bit of a lone effort for Edward while he had a full-time job, but he has more people working on it now. And it would be really cool if this was really, really awesome, like Inkscape or... Ah. So the thing that's on top gets displayed first, like has higher priority of its instructions, so if it's showing full, nothing will show underneath it. And we'll save, as we do.
So that you could use that crossfade to put subtitles, or does it have subtitles?
You could do that where you could put subtitles. It doesn't have a subtitles feature in mine.
You could add a subtitle track. You could add a subtitle track that's transparent PNGs in the appropriate spot and just put them above, and because they've got a transparent background, the video that's underneath that will show through and it'll render over the top.
All right, do another one. So my next slide is about contributing. So there is a project leader now called Jeff on Pitivi, the guy that was talking to us. Anyway, I'm coming this as a user. I'm not involved in the project, but the project does say it needs people to test, hack, translate, document, and they even have these lovely things like Pitivi Love, where they're showing easy tasks people can get started on, and you can claim any of them. So they're quite open to contributors, and they have a hash Pitivi on Freenode if you want to get involved, and if you want to try it out. Oh, then Jan's slide's coming next. So let's see how that render's going so we can see that, and I'll pass over to him. But you can see in the background how it's doing the crossfade here. Might do it in a sec. So Jan's running a different version to me, which I guess he'll explain, will you, Jan? Yeah.
They're working on Windows Portal.
There have been attempts at that, but I don't know if they are.
I think someone did get it running on Windows about a year ago. There aren't any really tricky pieces once you've got the GStreamer and its dependencies built.
So yeah, thank you very much.
I'm broke, but I'm happy. I'm poor, but I'm kind. I'm short, but I'm healthy. Yeah. I'm high, but I'm grounded. I'm sane, but I'm overwhelmed. I'm lost, but I'm hopeful, baby. And what it all comes down.
Hang on. So my intention was just to tack on a few slides at the end about some of the advanced features, or features that are only available in the Git repository at the moment. And so the biggest one is video effects, as well as standard transitions. They've got support for video effects. And the tricky part, of course, is that Pitivi is built on top of GStreamer using, so there's several layers here. There's GStreamer providing the underlying media handling capability. On top of that, Edward wrote a library as the first piece of Pitivi called GNonLin that is about constructing non-linear editing pipelines. And then Pitivi is basically the user interface that sits on top of this stack. So the first problem is that if you want to do anything with Pitivi head, you probably also need the latest GStreamer bits installed. And so you have to do a bit of compiling. You can't just go and fetch Pitivi and compile that. But anyway, so So this was just a simple demo of the crossfading that I had ready to go in case Jaime's didn't work. So that just shows some of the crossfading stuff. You'll notice when you do the preview renders, they're never quite as smooth as when you do the full thing. That rotate, and I can give it an arbitrary angle. Can add effects to the video. There's a marbling. I can turn that off. Sharpen the video back up a bit. And scrub back and forth to see how that looks. There's not yet any way to script the parameters over time, but I guess they have plans to do that as well. Add several keyframes through the effect that would let you do a spinning rotate, for example. And then the other part that I wanted to mention is the GStreamer editing services library that Edward started about 6 months ago, and slots into the stack I mentioned before. So then with GStreamer editing services, we end up with GStreamer, the GNOME library sitting on top of that, GStreamer editing services sitting on top of that, and then Pitivi at the top of the stack is the UI. And the GStreamer editing services are a library plus a command line utility that the main distinction is the GNOME library knows about taking pieces of video and putting them together into a timeline. But more generally, it knows about taking input media that might not be video, just time-based media. And so it tries very hard to not know anything specifically about video and audio, just to be a generic library for constructing timelines of things. And the GStreamer editing services is aimed to be a thing that has all that specialized knowledge about resolutions and matching them together and interlacing and all these things that you really need for video. All that logic that's been up in Pitivi currently is being pushed down into a library that makes it easier to build other editing applications. So Transmageddon, for example, is already switching over to GStreamer editing services because it provides facilities for investigating a video file and getting out all the information about its interlacing and resolution, and simplifies its task of saying, take this video and convert it into that video. The other thing it knows about is avoiding transcoding when possible. So because it knows about video formats, it knows about Theora specifically, it can say, well, there's no point decoding Theora. If I'm encoding to the same Theora, I can just skip that and directly remux it. It adds, so I mentioned the Discoverer, that's about investigating video files and getting the properties out of them. It knows about profiles and encode bin, which are utilities for specifying the output format of your content in terms of saying, I want it in this container, this resolution, this bit rate. There's one little profile that you can just say, and that fits in, for example, with Transmageddon's output presets. So these are generic device profiles, and then if you don't have a preset, you can still have a generic sort of encoding profile as well, and those will all come from the GStreamer editing services library, so they're all in a common place for both Transmageddon and Pitivi and Arista and these other apps that I'm going to mention in the next talk. And that's pretty much my shtick for Pitivi. Does anyone have any questions for either of us?
Yeah, are there any good alternatives in the open source world of Pitivi, or is it alone in low balance?
Okay, so the question is, are there any good alternatives to Pitivi?
As in, like, are there any other projects which do similar things? And if so,
There are several other projects that aim to try to do this video editing thing. KDE have the Caden Live project. There's OpenShot aiming to do it. There's another one whose name there's Cinelera, which has been around for donkey years, but just I've never gotten anywhere with Cinelera. I've never managed to get it to do anything other than crash. Yeah, that's true. It may be optimized for that. And there's another one I can't remember. Sorry? I don't even know that one. Okay, so Lombard. So there are other ones. Pitivi is the GStreamer one, and I'm a GStreamer guy, so I tend to talk about Pitivi.
right, okay, so that's specific to GStream. The other ones don't necessarily.
Right, they use their own, they do all that media implementation work themselves and pull in the external libraries generally.
You mentioned that plugins being just like set config. Is it possible in the future for there to be plugins say like you can effectively get hang around and something like that, where you set a path?
I think you can implement an effect like that, and the path would be a parameter of the effect. So there are, for example, transition effects not in this one. That's not what I want. I can't, yeah, sorry, I can't, they may not be in this version. These are all about video effects. They're in the GStreamer editing services, which I'll give a demo in the next talk. They've added in the idea of transitions, and all of the GStreamer transition plugins then become available as an effect for going in between videos. But there's nothing particularly special about that. You can make a Ken Burns effect as a video effect that just applies to a segment of video as well. Yeah. And of course, I guess you could do it yourself as well, using the effects that are here. You can box and cut and crop the video, so as soon as you can parameterize your cropping, then you can schedule that. You can, as soon as you can attach a timeline to these properties, you can crop to a segment and bounce it around. And that's all available in the property. The GStreamer provides the capabilities to do that, but Pitivi doesn't implement any UI for hooking them up, I guess because they haven't come up with how to present that to a user in a way that's as simple as this is. Any others? Any other questions? Any for Jaime on editing on the?
Pitivi is written in Python.
Does it use any, does it use any frameworks on Python or just straight Python library?
Well, it has the multimedia one.
Right.
I don't remember if, I think it's just straight. I don't think it's using Twisted or anything.
Right.
How far did you get with your working video?
Oh, that's it. That's as far as I've gotten learning. I've had some good attempts at wedding videos, but I mean, normally it crashes or something. But I haven't tried it this version, so I will now. I feel more confident now if I can get something. You know, I just take shots of people at conferences and just want to have a look at them and I just give up because they look crashed or
I think the problem with the wedding videos is that they're sort of 4 gig files.
So you generally feel that it's now reached a fairly usable state?
Yeah, for this problem. So I've got a camera, I've taken some photos, I just want to snip something off the end and show my friends. Or you just want to grab an image out of it and just grab some things like that. So
Yes, because I mirror your experience of every time I've tried it, it fails and so on.
Yeah.
I recommend that everyone install the GStreamer PPA if they're running on Ubuntu. Most of the bugs that cause crashes are lower down in the stack in GStreamer, and newer GStreamer can fix them. It's kind of hard to crash Python that way without some kind of assistance from the underlying libraries.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, Jan's going to give us another talk coming up. I think we'll just